Okay, thank you, Merritt, for coming and doing this.
Of course.
So first thing I want to ask you is what part of the Theatre in London program was most valuable, do you think?
Honestly, I think the part of it that was most valuable to me personally is just everything I gained as a person from the multitude of experiences that we had on the trip, from going to see all the shows to going to the museums to all these different historical places, and just living with new people and being in that new environment for so long. I honestly feel like I did a lot of growing as a person, or maybe I realized a lot of the growing up that I had done over the past year. And so honestly, that was probably the most valuable takeaway for me, is just realizing the person I was becoming.
That's wonderful. Good. So what did you enjoy most about the program?
I really enjoyed a lot of the historical places we got to visit. That's something that's really interesting to me. And so I enjoyed getting to go to these places and learn about how people used to live, and then see that and then apply it to a lot of the shows that we saw, 1536. That has a lot more weight after you've been to the Tower of London and you've seen the spot where Anne Boleyn was executed.
Right.
And so that was probably the most enjoyable part for me, was just taking that interest I already had and applying it to all these new places we were seeing and going to.
That's great. So what would you say was the most challenging thing about studying abroad?
The most challenging thing for me probably was adjusting to sort of the newfound independence in a way, because you're not completely on your own, obviously, but it's a lot to be, it's a big jump to go from, being in the same time zone as your parents in a way to, oh no, I have to do all this and I can't even call my mom because it's 3 a.m. over there, because I rely on my mom for advice so much. And so there was and I think that's part of the growing up I was talking about, I had to be a big girl and I had to handle some things myself. And so I think that was a challenge, but it was a really valuable challenge for me.
Good. So what new foods did you try while we were over there?
Okay, on the free weekend when my parents came up, we went to Paris.
Nice.
And then we went to Versailles and we ate lunch at this restaurant on Versailles, and I tried escargot.
Wow.
And that's how I learned that people with shellfish allergies aren't supposed to eat escargot.
Oh no.
Because a few minutes later I was like, oh no, my throat kind of hurts. Oh. And I had to take a Benadryl really fast. So that was probably the craziest new food that I tried.
Okay, so what advice would you give to a student who's considering coming on the program?
Okay, my first advice I would give them would be to go, first of all. And second of all, I would say to really prepare for being in a new environment, because, yeah, it's sort of similar to where we are, but also there's so many little differences that, you have to adjust to. And those are honestly the hardest, because it's changing such a small part that you don't really think about, of now you have to think about it. And I would just tell them also to prepare to have so many new friendships enter their lives, and really think about how that is going to change and impact them as a person, honestly, for the better.
Good. Okay, and then lastly, can you describe your favorite day on the program?
Okay, my favorite day, I feel like every day was my favorite day. There were so many good days, but one of my favorite days was probably when we went to Hampton Court Palace.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that. I had been there before, and so I was so excited to come back and see new things. And because I'd been there before, on my senior trip after high school with my parents, I went around with everybody, and I basically acted like I was doing the tour, which maybe probably was a little annoying, but like I didn't really care. It was fun for me.
Oh no,
And
great.
so that was a lot of fun because we did Hampton Court Palace, and then we like got to go into the town. And we didn't go into the town for long, but we went to the cutest little cafe, and I had the most delicious like avocado toast in the entire world. It was so good. And it was just really fun to like get to be together and like explore this place and like think about what was there and then go get some good food.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Merritt.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.